Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty, and today we're going to be making this pattern in Procreate. If you're a regular here, feel free to use the timestamps to skip to the beginning of the tutorial, and if you're new here, then welcome to the Pattern Makers Toolkit. It's my free little club designed to help you on your pattern making journey, or maybe even fall down the pattern making rabbit hole. Inside you'll find lots of handy resources, including today's yummy colour palette, which I'm going to be using to make this pattern here. You can find that over on my website. This is kind of a beginner friendly pattern, as long as you keep an eye, as I always say, on your snapping accuracy and follow my tips as we go along. So let's get started. As always, 3600 pixel canvas. I've got a preset for that here, and it's 300 DPI. I'm going to start by changing my background color to this one from this palette here. It doesn't have a title at the moment, but when you download this one, it will say 3-dimensional chevron or something like that. So background is set, and we're going to start by tapping on this layer and fill it with our first colour in the pattern. I'm going to tap transform up here. We want bicubic for our interpolation method, and you want magnetics and snapping on and cranked all the way up for this. So tap on rotate 45 degrees and then fit it to the canvas. Then we need to tap off this and back on, so that we can properly adjust the width and height. Tap on the node here, and we are going to change it to 1200 pixels. Then center that on the canvas there. Then we are going to tap and fill the layer again. And then we're going to tap transform. You can change the interpolation method to nearest neighbor for this part, because this is all straight lines and right angles. So we want this to be with the ratio unlinked, 1200 pixels, and I'm going to make it 200 pixels tall. Actually, I might make it 100. Let's go for a bit narrower. So this is 1200 pixels wide and 100 pixels tall. And I'm going to snap this to the middle of the canvas, not centered on it like that, but I'm going to center it horizontally, and then the top of this box is going to be lined up with the middle of the canvas, like that. Then you can pinch and merge these two layers together. Then we're going to add another layer, fill this one, tap transform, tap on the node, still with nearest neighbor, and make this box 100 pixels by 100 pixels. And what you want to do is snap this to the middle of your point there. I'll invert the color on this and bring down the opacity so you can see. So that's snapped to the middle top of this point there. Now we're going to duplicate this layer, tap transform, and I'm going to snap it to the bottom of this box here. So the top of this is snapped to the bottom of that box and the middle of the canvas. I'll just invert the colors, in fact, so you can see. So that's like 100 pixels down. Select the layer now. I'm going to tap on the layer underneath. I'm going to hide these two, tap transform, and then I'm going to drag this off the screen, and then we are left here with a nice 1200 pixel by 700 pixel chevron, which we can use to make our zigzags. And because 700 pixels doesn't divide into 3600, I'm going to crop the canvas so that it will fit that 700 pixel repeat. So I'm going to tap on my canvas actions, tap on canvas, go to crop and resize, settings, turn snapping on, and change the height to 3500. Then you can tap done and center that, tap done, and now we should be able to get 5 repeats of that in there. So just a reminder on that, this canvas is now 3600 wide by 3500 for the height. So let's make our first stripe now. We don't need those anymore, but we'll just leave those there hidden, and we'll bring this to the top. So duplicate this, tap transform, and snap one over to the side here. Zoom in, and you shouldn't have any gaps there. Duplicate again, tap transform, and bring this over to the side. And also, I'm going to change this back to bicubic while I remember. So now we've got one row of chevrons there. We can pinch and merge those together. I'm going to snap this up to the top, and this will be our first one. So I'm going to duplicate now, tap transform, and I'm going to snap it so that it snaps, the top of this bounding box is snapping to the middle of this set of stripes. You could snap it to the bottom there if you want a wider gap between them, but I'm going to have it like this. And I'm going to alpha lock this one and change it to my next colour. Then duplicate again, tap transform, snap it down by half the height again. Fill this with the next colour. Duplicate, tap transform, snap this one down again, and you should find the bottom of this should snap to the middle of the canvas there. Change the colour on it. Then duplicate one last time and change this to that colour. Then we can group all of these together. Duplicate the group, tap transform, and snap those like that, so that after your last peach one you should have an even gap there for your next yellow one to come in. And so that these carry on up there, we need to go into this bottom group, duplicate the peach one, tap transform, and snap the middle of that to the top of the canvas there. And that is our set of repeating chevron stripes. So if you want to make a plain pattern with just thin chevrons, if that's how you go about that, I want to show you how to make a really cool three-dimensional effect on this now. So I'm going to come up to the top layer here, I'm going to add a layer, go to my disc, double tap over here for 50% grey and fill this layer with it. I'm going to tap transform and actually put it back to nearest neighbour, I didn't need to change that. Tap on this node, unlink the ratio, and I want to make it 600 pixels wide, I think. So 600 pixels will bring it to 1/2 of this chevron. So I'm going to snap that to the edge of the canvas there. Duplicate, tap transform, and snap it to the edge of this box there. Duplicate it again, tap transform. This will make sense in a minute, I promise. So this one should be, this part will be snapped to the middle of the canvas there. This middle one you can transform and bring over here. Then duplicate it again, tap transform, bring it over to there, and then you can get rid of that one. So you should have 3 of these rectangles that line up with the right hand side of each of these chevrons. So you should just see diagonal stripes at the moment. Pinch to merge those all onto one layer. Tap on your blend modes and change these to colour burn. And then you can see we get this really cool 3D effect on there. I think that might be a little bit too intense, so I'm going to bring the opacity down on that to maybe like 60%. And that is our 3-dimensional chevron pattern tile. Now we just need to check if this is repeating properly. So swipe down with 3 fingers and copy all. Come up to the top here, paste. Let's tap to add a layer underneath, and we'll just fill it with this grey colour. And then if there's any gaps, the grey colour will show through. Tap transform. Let's put this back to bicubic. And snap this into the middle there. You should see 1800 pixels, and because we changed the height of the canvas, if you're used to seeing 1800 pixels, it will say 1750 there. So duplicate, transform and snap it over here, and then zoom into the middle there and make sure that this line, that seam is looking okay. Then you can pinch and merge those together, duplicate, tap transform and snap this down to the bottom there. And then just zoom in and check your horizontal seam is looking okay there. And that is this pattern tile finished. If you want to use this same colour palette that I've used, don't forget you can find that over in the Pattern Makers Toolkit. Pattern Makers Toolkit is a bit like a Patreon group, except it's all free. I send out one and only one email per month with a freebie in there to help you on your pattern making journey, as well as early access links to some of my YouTube tutorials and full access to all the assets in the resource library. Plus, members get 10% off all the canvases and brushes in my Etsy store. New for 2025, the email also has a set of seasonal prompts each month for helping you plan, illustrate and upload in advance for the key shopping dates in your print-on-demand stores like Spoonflower. If you'd like to join, just click on the link up here or in the description. And if you love making geometric patterns like this in Procreate, then you will love my Skillshare class, which is all about making patterns in Procreate with just one circle. If you're not already a Skillshare member, you can get 30 days free when you sign up with the link here. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube for more patterns like this every week. Have fun, stay creative, and I will see you soon.